What do you most remember about the filming of Paths of Glory?
Stanley had seen me on German television, and he phoned my agent, and my agent phoned me and said, there's a bit part for you in a film. Just have to sing something in German. But it's an American director, and it's very good to do an American film. Young people from Germany then had a certain idea of what an American film director might be, something I couldn't possibly describe. So certainly not somebody like Stanley. And I was very impressed, and by some miracle so was he. And we got married.
And the scene you're in, it's sort of an expression of humanity and hope at the end of quite a bleak film.
Yeah.
And were you surprised at all that a Jewish-American director cast a German actress to provide that?
Yeah, I didn't think in detail of the reasons. I thought it was a lyrical end to a very harsh film. By the time I shot the scene, because he shot in sequence, I already knew him because he'd seen me in the theatre in Munich, and we had already decided to marry. And after that, I came to America.
And what was it like being married to Stanley Kubrick?
As a result, I was extremely happy. And I had a wonderful life.
And why do you think your marriage was such a success? Why did it last so long?
We often wondered, because we couldn't have come from more different and more grotesquely catastrophic backgrounds in my case. And so, yes, it was quite a topic.
Was he a romantic husband?
Oh, yes. I obviously, I was lucky. I think we both were.
I heard somewhere that because he wouldn't fly, you used to, when you did still travel back to America, travel back by the Queen Mary or one of those great ocean liners.
Great fun.
And that you used to dance every night together.
We did. He was a great dancer, a secret really, but he liked dancing. And he was a drummer when he was a young man, so he was very musical.
Why was it a secret in being a great dancer?
He wasn't a flashy person. He was very gregarious, not like the things they always said about Stanley. He was immensely gregarious. He wasn't in fashionable restaurants. That's the only difference.
Unlike a lot of sort of people who are married to somebody who's sort of enormously creative and artistic person, you were also an artist.
I was a painter, and so that works very well.
And do you think you had an influence on his work?
I don't know. I think everybody was married for such a long time. I must have had some influence.
I heard that you'd come up with the idea of using the Blue Danube in 2001.
I did not. That was, Stanley was looking for, he had all these turning images, and he wanted to say something like, this is going to be really, by that time, easy, and he liked waltzes very much. And so he thought of it, and he had a whole stack sent to him in his garage where he was cutting the film, and he listened to all the different conductors and thought, that's it, the Blue Danube I'm going to use. It's brilliant, works. He loved the preparation. He loved the cutting, the editing enormously. And he in part liked shooting, but it wasn't his favorite, because you're very nervous to use the time properly, and he was aware of any second going by and it's not going to be there, I won't have it. So he was tense sometimes during shooting, but yeah, he enjoyed it also.
Could he also be distracted by things? I heard somewhere that while he was sort of working on Eyes Wide Shut, he became fascinated by the Lewinsky hearings and spent days watching those.
Yeah, I think he did. He liked dramatic tension of any kind, and if it was real. He liked it in sports, he liked it in politics. He hated the war on Iraq and watched every second. And I think he was not the only man that did that. He certainly was somebody who listened to the news all the time and had strong opinions, which he changed from day to day, as anybody who's really intelligent would. Since we only get snippets of the truth anyway, so you have to change your mind all the time.
Did he ever use your life as a source?
He was going to shoot he was going to make a film about my uncle, who was a film director, one of the best-known film directors in Germany. I come from a sort of showbiz family. Veit Harlan was his name, and he made one infamous film. He made many films, and one was called Jud Süß, which he made, and Goebbels was influencing him. Goebbels wanted him to make the film, told him to make the film, and then changed the film. And the reason he got free out of the trial, famous huge trial in Germany, was because my uncle could prove that he really would have died had he refused, and so would have his family. But you know, those were different times.
Did Stanley Kubrick meet your uncle?
Yes, yes, they met. He was a very impressive man and very funny, and he met the whole showbiz family that I came from, and I do in particular remember that he downed a whole toothpaste glass of vodka before he met them. He was interested in their story, and he thought it would be very interesting to show what it is like when you are living under a dictatorship and you are an important showbiz person and extremely vulnerable, mostly because you also think, because you're talented, that you might be as smart as the people in power. Big mistake that most actors make.
And did he, in terms of that research, did he meet other people who'd been implicated in that period?
No, he met an aunt, same uncle's wife, who was a famous Swedish film star, Kristina Söderbaum, and her life was much threatened, and it was sort of big sensation after the war. And so Stanley had read some of these stories, and you know, he didn't know all these things, although I had, you know, before he married me, told him everything I represent.
Getting quotes is always a slightly dangerous thing, but one of the things I read about the research he did in the Aryan Papers, which was one of the projects, which was
that he really wanted to do, yeah.
But you know, it's reported he dropped it as a project because of Schindler's List.
Yes,
but
he
also,
did.
You said that he found it eventually very depressing.
Yes, I don't know whether you've ever read the real detail, and it is not survivable. And I remember that Steven Spielberg thought he almost couldn't do it. And he was ill reading up on the detail, as anybody would be. It is not survivable. And it's not, you cannot, and the reason Stanley gave up on it is because Steven's film was about Jews that lived, and just a few. If you tell the whole truth in a film, which is the only way you could honor all these dead people and be respectful enough, you would have to tell the whole truth. You could not do it to the actors, you couldn't do it to the director, and you couldn't do it to the audience. It would be all that it was, absolutely unsurvivable, psychologically in any case.
And living with somebody who is spending all their working day doing that research, did you find it a dark period and a depressing period?
I had already, for all the reasons I just told you, felt it necessary when I was young that I should know it all. And I was 14 when the war ended, so I was that generation that really was angry. And we read everything that you could read, and we saw all the hideous films. I mean, they filmed everything. And so I knew what he was in for, and he read the whole SS detail catalogues of what they did, and photographs and the lot. And nobody can do that without becoming extremely depressed and disorientated. It's really sickening.